So the lady, when you explained to the security guard that this was a medical emergency, did she really say to you, go outside and pee like a dog?
Yes.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the People's Global News Network. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the People's Global News Network. We here at the Global News Network bring you the stories that reveal and expose hypocrisy, political corruption, judicial and prosecutorial misconduct, police excessive use of force, and other forms of racism, discrimination, and just outright injustice, no matter who the victim is. But we tell you the raw, unadulterated truth. This is the platform of the people. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Thank you for joining us. Tell us this horrific story, brother, this horrific encounter that you encountered just going to a store and attempting to use the restroom.
Yes. Well, it happened off of Stony Brook in West Palm at the Valero. I stopped in to get some gas because I was empty and I needed to use the restroom. I'm a 53-year-old diabetic and I have frequent urine problems. And so I make sure I'm always around the bathroom. So I went in to use the restrooms. I went to the back. On the restroom door, it says, see the cashier for the key. So I went to see the cashier for the key with an attitude. She told me the restrooms were broken, I couldn't use them. And I said, well, ma'am, this is a medical emergency. When I feel the urge, I only got so many, minutes before it comes. And so she was like, well, I don't know what you're gonna do. She was just really bad attitude. And I'm like, well, ma'am, it's, coming. I said, can I get a cup and go into this office area so I'm not around anybody, and relieve myself because it's a medical emergency. She says, no, you can't do it. But at that time, I was about to wet myself. So I grabbed the cup. I went into the office not to expose myself. She started screaming for security. The security guard, she came over and just immediately started spraying me with pepper spray. I'm like, ma'am, this is a medical emergency. I'm trying to use the restroom. I don't want to. She's like, you got to get out and pee like a dog on the street. I'm like, ma'am, that's against the law. I can't, expose myself in the public. And they made me run out of the Valero and run around the building to urinate on outside.
So the lady, when you explained to the security guard that this was a medical emergency, did she really say to you, go outside and pee like a dog?
Yes. Yes. She said, you cannot pee in here. You got to get out of here. You go outside and piss on the wall. I'm like, what? Like a dog? She said, yeah, like a dog piss on the wall.
And you were explaining to the cashier that you were having a medical emergency.
Yes.
How were you dressed? Where were you coming from?
I'm a physical therapy assistant. I was dressed in the same gear I have on here.
So
I
you
was
were
in
in your
full
medical
scrubs.
you were in your medical scrubs.
Yes, sir.
You were not looking homeless.
No.
You were not wearing some oversized hoodie to where only your lips would show.
No.
So they didn't think you were going to commit a crime.
No.
And you were in medical scrubs telling these people at Valero gas station
Yes.
that you're having a medical emergency and they refuse to assist and help you at all.
Yes.
The security guard, when you take the cup and try to handle the situation yourself in a medical emergency, she pepper sprays you
She pepper sprays me.
and tells you to, and when you say to her, I'm having a medical emergency,
She said, you got to get out of here and go out and pee on the wall outside. I said,
hap-
like, that's like an animal. She said, yes, you got to get out of there.
what happened after you were pepper sprayed?
Well, after I pepper sprayed, I start, immediately feeling the effects of the pepper spray. But I also still had to urinate. And so I had to run outside. It was just embarrassing. Run outside in front of the store to around the corner and urinate. So When I came back, I told them that I'm going to call 911. I said, y'all have assaulted me for trying to use the restrooms. So she was like, well, I'm going to call 911 too. Good, we both can call. So I called them. I called the paramedic, the fire department or whatever, because I was burning. My skin was just on fire. When the police came, it was a Caucasian individual. He said, I told him what had happened. He went and verified in the store. He said, they cooperate your story, but I can't do anything until my supervisor get here because he has the authority to go to the district attorney. So I said, okay. And then when the supervisor got there, he was very uncooperative. He looked like he wanted me to just go home and forget the whole thing. He asked me what was the problem. I explained to him what was the problem. He said he had to go inside and corroborate the story. He did. He came back, he said everything happened exactly the way you said it happened. He says, what do you want to do? I says, well, I want to do something. Is it something you can do? He says, well, this is a private business. I said, can you have them at least open up the doors? I said, it doesn't make any difference if the bathrooms were broke, but at least open up the doors because I have a witness here who says that this Valero locks the doors at about 5 o'clock, but they're open and they work. He comes here all the time. So the police officer said there's nothing he could do. This is a private place. And I told him I can't understand why it's nothing you could do. And he says, well, do you want her to go to jail? I said, yes, I want her to go to jail. And the guy that was a witness, he says, they're in there making fun of him right now, burning out here. And so he says, well, let me go to the district attorney. Let me go talk to the district attorney. So he went, sit in his car. I'm burning. All this time, I'm just burning. Nobody offered me
What
water.
about paramedics? Have they showed up yet?
They showed up first. They said there was nothing they can do for pepper spray. The only thing that they advised me to do is to go home and take a shower and to wash out because they had no chemical or anything they could stop. I said, okay, and they went off. They left. But all this time, this is what was going on. He finally said he talked to the district attorney. The district attorney said that she was not going to pick it up or whatever, so nobody was going to jail. But he gave me a case number for assault, and that's when I came and contacted you. But all
So,
the time,
my question to you and to law enforcement, and more so to law enforcement, are you saying to us that the security officer had a justified right within the legal parameters of the law to pepper spray this man? He was not causing a threat to anyone. He was not committing a robbery. He was not committing a theft of shoplift. He was not vandalizing the property. He was not refusing to leave the store. He just was consistently asking to use the restroom. So he goes into an area that is private to use the restroom. And instead of the security officer saying, no, leave the store, you're trespassing, or you can't do that in here, sir, she just walks up to you and pepper sprays you.
yes,
Almost like she was waiting for the opportunity to use that pepper spray and pepper spray somebody.
yes,
After a man that has loudly said, even in the security guard's presence, I am having a medical emergency.
yes,
Are we to believe law enforcement? This is HPD, right?
yes,
Are we to believe Houston Police Department that was not an assault? Are we to really believe that that's not an assault? I said absolutely is an assault. And in fact, Valero should be ashamed of themselves to be a public establishment open to the public, catering to the public, welcoming the public, promoting your product and your services and your station to the public. And a man in medical scrubs comes in, says, I'm having a medical emergency. Instead of you helping him, you refuse him help and then pepper spray him. And then you're further victimized by the Houston Police Department by not thoroughly doing their job. And it makes me wonder that when the supervisor showed up on the scene with HPD, he was already disgruntled and didn't want to be there. He was already like, well, you just go home and let this go. What do you want me to do? So I believe that he probably called the DA and gave them a very watered down version of the facts. And then the DA said, no, we're not going to accept charges. Pathetic. Shame on you, Valero. Shame on you. Is this how you treat citizens in the city that you serve, that you offer your services to, who are having a medical emergency? I'm very, very sad to hear this, brother, but we will fight to get to the bottom of this. And yes, we will be filing a complaint with IAD on the supervisor himself who came to the scene. And we also will be pursuing the security company who's doing contract security at that store for violating this man's civil rights, human rights, his dignity, and inflicting physical pain upon him. We will continue to update you about this story as it progresses, and as we receive further updates, we're going to bring it to the people here at People's Global News Network. What else would you like us to know about this story, my brother?
Well, as a black man, I feel that the overall respect level for black men is down. I feel that people feel that they can do black men any kind of way, and there's no recompense for it.
No accountability for it.
No accountability for it. And I felt the way that these people treated me showed they didn't even think about a medical response. And I just think about all the other black men that are a little older than me that are coming now that might have problems too. Well, they get treated the same way. So I would just hope that everybody involved would show more respect for what we've been through this nation.
I could understand if they had said to you, the bathroom is for customers only. Well, then I can buy a piece of gum, I can buy a bottle of water or something like that, but let me use the restroom. All they had to say to you was, it's for customers only. Can you buy something and use the restroom? Or can you, when you leave the restroom, come and buy something after you leave out of the restroom? I don't think you'd had a problem with that.
No, I would not have.
Shameful and disgraceful in Valero. But we will bring you these updates. Thank you, brother, for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. And we will fight for you, brother, that justice is served.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the People's Global News Network, where we bring you the stories that send shockwaves through the system and exposes those who violate the vulnerable, the weak, and those who don't have a voice. Thank you.